Oh, hi! This week, it's time! I have now completed the Tilly and the Buttons trifecta. I purchased these two for myself finally after borrowing both of them from the library for months at a time. One weird upside to the pandemic is due dates weren't a thing because people weren't going in as much. My dear friend Grant Scoville from Crafting with Cocktails sent me the last one that I haven't done yet. I finally get to do the Make It Simple book. Holy shit, y'all. So I have already gone through, picked out what patterns I want to use because there are some variations, some like big variations on some of the patterns in here. Because this is another sew from my stash year, I had to let the fabric I have in house guide what version I went with for some of these. So there will be other versions down the road that I really want to try out, but I'm still doing one option from each pattern that she provided. So I'm still doing the full book. It just won't be as straightforward as some of the previous videos I've done where I've just done like the base project with like a little jazz to it. Some of these are gonna be real fucking jazzy. I made a list that I didn't fully stick to for the fabric that I did pick out. The initial garment, the Sophia trousers. I'm not actually doing the trousers, I'm doing the wrap top playsuit version. I was hoping this thrifted dress was gonna have enough fabric because it's just a really good polka dot and it's the right type of fabric, like a nice drapey woven, but it's not gonna do it. Also, I fucking love this fabric and I'd rather save it for a pattern I'm for sure gonna like rather than do the test version out of this. So luckily I had this bed sheet. I thrifted this a couple years ago. I think it was when I did kind of like a thrift haul in the back of my truck at a park for some reason. And I've cut all the pieces out exact to the pattern and packed all the pattern pieces away in one of these big envelopes. Envelope, whatever. I get made fun of for how I say it and I don't. Doesn't matter, you know the word I'm using. Anyways, the only pattern pieces I still have in the fold here are for the interfacing. And here's what I do, especially with floppy fabric like this. This one's not too bad, but anything that's gonna shred any finickiness to it and isn't just gonna fucking lay solid, I cut the fabric kind of vaguely around the shape, but cut this exact out of interfacing. Then yes, I'm wasting a little bit more of the fabric, but wasting less interfacing, which honestly, interfacing is way more expensive than the fabric that I'm using for all of these. It removes the hassle of trying to have two intricately shaped things be attached together, and if there's the littlest bit of movement or walking or shifting happening, you're fucked, and it's a real pain in the ass to try to line stuff up exactly, and this just cuts out that entire headache. It makes my life easier. This is how I do it. Also, you don't risk having the interfacing going off the edge of the fabric and ruining your iron or your ironing board or whatever your pressing cloth apparatus may be. It's just how I do it. You do you. Everything's gonna be fine. So Sophia trousers are first. I'm doing the playsuit romper thing. Next up is the Tabitha t-shirt. I am gonna do the ringer style t-shirt, short sleeve. These are the cuffs and neckband is this black knit. I'm very excited to use this up because it's from an old coat I cut apart for the stretch book actually. So I finally get to use some of the scraps from that. And this amazing stripy Jack Skellington fabric that Cheryl sent me. It's magnificent and I love it. I am very confident that this will be something that I will end up wearing and like the pattern's gonna work out fine because I wear the other t-shirty type projects that I've made from Tilly patterns before. I'm trusting the sewing gods to like give me a win, so I cut this out of good final fabric. Next is the Sookie dress. I made a questionable choice here, but it's the only thing I had that I felt like would really work for a test thing because I need a lot of fabric for it, and I had this curtain laying around, but it does have sequins on it. We'll see. It is sometimes called a kimono style sleeve. There's gotta be a different term for this, but it's kind of an all-in-one sleeve. There's not a separate sleeve piece. So I'm excited to mess around with that. I assume I'll be making many tops with that style sleeve. It's a real long dress. This is sheer, so I'm gonna have to wear it over something, which is fine. It has stripes at least, right? Isn't this insane? I think I was given this by my sister. It was gonna be a curtain in one of my nibblings rooms. Next is the Bertha cardigan, where I have a bunch of fabric set aside for making myself multiples of these, but I don't know if the initial fit is gonna work, so rather than wasting the fleece that I like, we're breaking out the hot pink shit again because I still have so much of it. 2 years ago, it was one of the first studio vlog type things I did when I got really into running my Etsy shop when I became partially self-employed. I tried to order 5 yards of neon green fabric, but no, this is what they sent me. Rather than me exchanging it, they just sent me the neon green fabric and were like, oh, you can just keep that pink shit. So even the store, like it's a lot, it's 60-inch wide fabric and 5 yards of it. It's a fuckload of material, and they were like, we don't want that here. So test fit will be out of that. Hopefully it works out, and then if not, any alterations I have to make will then lead me to having like really nice ones that I can make out of the fleece I want to put on my body. Next are the Juno pajamas. I had limited fabric to work with, and also I'm hot all the time. So having a short version of the PJ bottoms and the top, basically the same pattern as the Tabitha t-shirt I have in the Jack Skellington fabric. I'm not gonna put the collar or cuffs on this though, because I can't have something tight on me while I'm sleeping. So it'll be a very loose t-shirt, but it's knit, so it's not gonna fray or anything. I'm very curious how the shorts are gonna work because, listen, I got a big butt. It has not quite worked out with her patterns before, but this is also super stretchy material, and I'll be sleeping in it. So like, if it fits a little weird or whatever, as long as it's comfortable, I will still use it because this is the softest material in the world. I want to take a nap in it. This was one of my caveats to my no-buy year last year because I specifically purchased this to make someone a Christmas present because it just screamed them, and the fabric I had used to make them their original Christmas present was trash. It made me so mad because it looked beautiful, but it had a little bit of a pile and there were some loose fluffs to it. And as I pulled the loose fluffs off because it was shedding, then there were bald spots and I couldn't gift it to the person I made it for. So these are the leftovers from that. That's why I kind of had sparse amounts, but yeah. And then lastly is the olive Pinafore. The test version is out of a fittingly olive green canvas material, like a duck canvas. It said to use something heavy duty. This may be a little too heavy duty for what I'm doing, but it's what I have. This is leftover from the cushion covers I made for my friend Bill. There wasn't even enough of that to do the facings, so I am using this incredible camouflage frog material for the inside. That was also sent to me by my fairy god Cheryl. Shockingly, it was fabric she didn't want to use, so then she sent it to me for muslins, and that's exactly what it's getting used for. Thank you so much. Nothing is going to waste here. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm already like way further behind schedule than I thought I was gonna be, but it's fine. Everything's still gonna get done. Also, it's a Saturday today, and like I've been doing other stuff, but also took like a fairly long lunch break, and it's all right. I'll get to the sewing tomorrow, but at least like all the prep work will be 100% done. Everything will be pressed out, interfacing will be ironed on. But the thing I want to show you is how I did the button marks on the olive front facing piece for the interfacing. So there are these little dots all over it, and I had the interfacing folded over, so I cut both out at the same time to mark the dots in the same spot. I did what's called thread tacking. So yeah, I just put a little tack through so that I wasn't trying to lift the pattern piece up and then mark and then have it be 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch off in one direction. And I also wasn't fighting with any pins or anything like that. It's just a really convenient way to do stuff. And you just pull 1 or 2 layers of thread through with a needle. I have one of those old school Betty Ann's Taylor marker that was sent from Cheryl. Perfect for marking quick little sections like this. So yeah, thread tacking. If you have never heard of or used it's gonna seem like it's more work. I feel like I dig in my heels anytime there's like more sewing or thread stuff involved in a project, especially in the prep stuff, but it does actually make this part go faster and just more accurate. Since I don't want to glue any of the thread tacking in place when I'm adhering the interfacing to the facings, I'm going to mark them with the water soluble marker and then take the thread out, but it was really good for transferring marks over with the pattern. It also works for darts and stuff like that. A little bit easier if you don't have like tracing paper and a tracing wheel or paper like this where you can't get a marker to kind of bleed through and mark, because sometimes I've done that before. Just some little thoughts for me to you, from me to you, I guess for me also to you. Can you tell my brain is fried because I've been doing a lot of heavy thinking the past couple days? Also, yes, all of these projects from the book are supposed to be ones you can like whip up in an afternoon, just take a couple hours, not take a whole day. And I know I'm doing all 6 in a week, which is heinous. It's also really the only way I'm going to get all of them done, because otherwise I will dilly-dally and it will take 4 years to get through 6 very easy projects. And I don't think it will hold my interest long enough in succession to do like 6 separate videos. So that is why I'm doing it this way and giving myself some ridiculous challenge. I do also tend to work all right under pressure. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing psychologically, but it does get me to be very productive. I'm just the type of person that needs to give myself pretty strict deadlines to get anything done, because otherwise I just won't. Okay, it is, what is this? Day 4. I think I spent a whole day cutting out and tracing the pattern pieces, and then another really long chunk of time cutting out all the fabric, and then it was a separate day to cut out all the interfacing and then like construct the facings and trim the fabric down, because like I said, I cut the actual fabric bit bigger. So that was across 3 days. That was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were also like in the afternoon on Friday after I had worked at my part-time job, both Saturday and Sunday afternoons, which I've been trying to take weekends mostly off, but I knew this particular project was going to eat up that time. And yesterday I knocked out 3 of the projects kind of effortlessly. Oh wait, yesterday was Sunday. So I think cutting out the actual patterns took multiple hours. So that must have been Thursday. So yeah, this is day 5. Technically speaking. Hi, how you doing, little Snoop? So here's what I have so far. I finished the wrap top romper. This was fascinating to put together. We'll talk about the actual fit and if I'm gonna keep it as is or if I'm using it as a jumping off point for future versions of something similar. I have ideas. They're happening. I also got the Jack Tabitha t-shirt done, and then I skipped ahead and did the pajama shirt, which is the same pattern as the Tabitha shirt. It's the Juno Pajamas. I'm about to start on the shorts, but the top came out great. I would not be comfortable sleeping in this version of this shirt, so I just kept it as is, and it's a knit, so it's not gonna fray. So it's gonna be perfect. It's intentional. Yes, it's lazy, but it is on purpose. So that same fabric for the shorts. I think the cardigan is gonna go together pretty quickly. I was walking through the steps in the book last night while I was reading through everything, and it looks pretty straightforward actually. I wasn't 100% sure how the construction was gonna go, but I think that will be surprisingly quick. Sookie dress I also suspect will go together pretty fast, even though it has a facing. There aren't even sleeves. There are 2 seams to make the actual dress, and then it's like the finishing details. There's adding the facing and hemming the sleeves and the bottom. So I think that's gonna take no time. The thing I'm most hesitant about is the olive pinafore, and I've been hesitant since the beginning. Something I have noticed and have probably talked about in previous videos. I either fucking love or do not at all like Tilly's patterns. Fashion wise, like they're gonna be easy to put together, and I really like how she explains things and just her whole theology about sewing in general, but the actual like from a fashion standpoint, what I like wearing. I have enjoyed making everything so far, but actually like wearing it and keeping it in my wardrobe. The facing is gonna be a lot. I've done a facing like that before in one of her books and also separately. I know how much of a headache it's gonna be. We'll see how far I get. So I'm gonna hunker down, put on a podcast, and knock at least the next 3 projects out. So like the pajama shorts, the Bertha cardigan, and the Sookie dress. We'll see how far I get with the olive pinafore. You know, if it was gonna end up taking way longer, I was gonna give myself the like time extension, but I think I'm on track. Feeling pretty good, and I've had an absolute blast doing stuff so far. I did learn a new technique on waistbands for the wrap top, but again, we'll do a little roundup at the end and I'll actually show you me wearing all of these things and any of my concerns and things I was surprised by and all of that good stuff. On to the actual sewing part of today, because it's like 10:30 and I have already done so many non-sewing things. All I want to do is sit in this chair and work at my machine all day. Wish me luck. I will see you on the other side. Okay, midday check-in. I got the shorts done. Breeze. Took no time. Great. I got the cardigan done. It took like an hour tops. The only hiccup was I fucking broke a needle with my very last stitch. I was tacking down some of the seam allowance on the neckband bit and fucking snapped that fucker right in half. Adrenaline is high. I'm gonna jump into the next one, into the Sookie dress. So full steam ahead. Okay, pals, are we ready to try on some garments? Let's go. Now, my issues with rompers in the past have been kind of a pot-belly situation for me that I don't love. I don't love how it looks. I don't feel good in it. And also, like, if you have to go to the bathroom with any amount of urgency, I have a sensitive stomach, and also I drink a fuckload of water, so like I frequently have to pee. It's not exactly the kind of garment I want to have on, because as shown by how long this is already taking for me to get on my body, it's just as slow in reverse, and taking this off with a quickness just isn't gonna happen. Oh boy. Okay, I feel like a fucking pterodactyl. I definitely can't unfold my arm to get in here. I'm too long. This will be fun, trying to get all of me in frame. You know, shit. I really like this. I like the top a lot. A quick resolution to both of the issues that I have is just make this into a skirt. It's kind of a flared out pattern to begin with, so I wouldn't wear this without shorts underneath anyway, because like a stiff breeze, nobody needs that. As with all things, I should have made the bodice longer. I should have known ahead of time, because I've used Tilly's patterns before, and generally speaking, I like to add 1.5 inches, 2 inches to bodice bits that attach to skirt bits, because here to here is long, here to here is long, and I got legs for days. So I should just know to do that alteration to start with, but we're learning. This is why we're doing the challenge this year. We're doing overall for my first overall romper is not bad. I actually really like the look of it. And these shorts aren't too bad. I've never seen an elastic waistband done this way, where it's flat in the front and then cinches. And it's just very flattering. I like this a lot. I feel like I can live my best Kaylee Fry cosplay dreams in something like this, you know, like a less sleevey long pant version. Could look a little bit like her boiler suit, right? Successful first wrap top attempt. I wonder if I use this pattern where the actual sides end, because it comes down here too. If I go straight down in the front and like extend those pieces, and I add strings to each side and maybe make like basically a buttonhole on one side, there's got to be a way to like wrap it around and have it be like a actual wrap dress. This is the stuff I'm trying to work my brain around and like really wrap my head around, is the pattern hacking possibilities, because I feel like there's so much room to grow with like every single one of these patterns. I'm not gonna wear it because I do feel like if I raise my arms all the way, I will cut myself in half, and we don't need that. A good first step in the world of rompers and wrap tops and like this style waistband. I really like this a lot. This ought to be mildly entertaining. Oh boy, oh boy. Ugh. It's like that scene at the end of Ace Ventura where he's climbing out of the rhinoceros. Ugh. I'm free. On to the next. Hey. Hell yeah. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, it's actually like the perfect length. If it was even half an inch shorter, it probably wouldn't work, but this is gonna hit like just enough to overlap my jeans. But I always wear a tank top under shorts anyway, because I get sensitive tummy, and the button, like the metal from the button, irritates my skin. Hell yeah, nickel allergy. I did make the sleeves the littlest bit longer than the actual short sleeve pattern, and I like that. I seem to be okay with sleeves that aren't the little teeny tiny ones, but still are above my elbow. I think anywhere in this general vicinity would have been okay with me. And yeah, it's not super, super fitted. So if I'm feeling a little meh that day without always having to go with like super oversized stuff, I'm honestly just really excited to have like a go-to t-shirt pattern, because I do like the raglan sleeve shirt that she has in the stretch book. I'm gonna continue making those, but this neckline is much more fuck-withable. I don't feel like I'm strangling. I would probably shorten it. It's comfortable and like definitely fits without being fitted. It could use maybe a little curvature here, but I'm okay with it sitting kind of straight like that. High school age me is just so incredibly jealous of the wardrobe that I've been making. Here is my little PJ set. Oh my gosh. Oh, I look like such a comfy beach dad. Hi, hey, hello. Oh, I'm gonna wear the hell out of these tonight. Actually, it's like 15 degrees outside, so maybe save it for warmer weather, but oh, so comfortable. Oh, this is great. These shorts are like exactly what I need for sleep bottoms. Yes, I've been looking for a pattern that suited me. Yeah. For like years, I've been trying to replace all the woven sleep shorts I had. So this is rad. This is very rad, and I don't feel like there's much gaping here, which is cool. And it covers my butt, which is helpful. Do appreciate. I think if I were to make a pair for going out, I would either add a cuff type thing to the bottom or just make the legs longer so that when I hemmed them, they would be hitting about here, because no one wants their bits hanging out, you know? Feel like I'm wearing pajamas. This fabric rules. Next up is the Sookie dress, which came together in no time. I think I made it in just over half an hour. Oh, I guess not including like all the pressing and stuff I did at the end. I'm not mad at it. I think I would need it to be shorter though, because I need full range of motion here. Would imagine this being cinched in at the waist and having belt loops right here would actually be pretty all right. And maybe like a slit in the back, huh? A little bit up the side. That actually wouldn't be too bad. Ideas are happening. About to put on the Bertha Cardigan, which is the one I was honestly the most excited about. Oh shit, y'all. Oh man. Oh, it's so good. Oh my goodness. This is like, uh-oh, I'm gonna be making a lot of these. I feel like I want it just a hair longer, and I think all I'd have to do is extend the hemband down, like make this folded over bit like a little longer, and then I would also have to extend the neckband a bit. That would be a very easy fix. But honestly, this, where it's hitting is like right above my butt, and that's totally usable. I like this a lot. Batwing action. Oh, this is so comfortable. Well, I'm gonna go right ahead and say that actually, no, that like the pajamas I'm very on board with. The t-shirt I'm so on board with. That this might be my favorite one, but at least half of these I'm going to wear immediately. I don't know. I do think rather than me wearing it for any amount of time, since it's like hot off the press, I'll probably end up putting this in my Etsy shop just so it goes to a different home, because I'm not gonna give it the love it deserves, but damn, it came out so good. And yeah, I was finishing this little tack down here to keep this seam allowance from peeking out in the front. When I broke the needle, it was just too dense of a spot for it to go through unharmed. Okay, are you ready for disappointment? You know, I wasn't even gonna put the facing in, but I did, and I did all the understitching and I pressed it all, and I was gonna do the armhole thing, and I was like, you know, let's try it on and see where we're at. Oh, and I hate it. It was good practice. I did all the fisheye darts on a different bodice. The placement and fit of the fisheye darts would not be so bad. This ain't me though. It's it's very not me. And that's okay. Not everything is going to be. That is why you get to have your own style. And honestly, even a year ago, I probably would have tried to like just force it to work. But I am starting to learn that about myself, is that I do have my own style. Obviously, I'm gonna keep the pattern because it'll be useful down the road for something. Like, I'm trying to think of a cosplay I could use something like that for. I did more on it than I actually expected. I was not even going to add the facing, but I'm very over that project. And maybe that'll change down the road and I'll want something that style, but current me, But I gave it a go. I worked with fabric that is not the easiest to work with for garment, so it was still time well spent. This whole thing has been so neat to work through. It had never occurred to me to do a dress like the Sookie one, where you kind of keep it just a pullover type thing and have a very basic facing, and it'll still have a nice finish around the neckline without having a ton of hardware up around the top and no collars, no buttons, and no zips. And then you can have the shaping be from having something belted. I want to think of that stuff more because I can think of other versions of that I would really enjoy wearing. And this is my first time doing any kind of top, both the wrap top and the Sookie dress, without adding separate sleeves. That saves so much sewing time and steps and like cutting out separate pieces. And the pajamas, I have finally found 2 shorts patterns that I think are gonna work for me and not make me hate wearing them. And I did my first wrap top, and that in particular has given me so much fodder for sewing ideas. I have lots and lots of things I want to use that as a jumping off point for. So I'm feeling really, really good about having done this book. Did I overwork myself? For sure. Am I happy that I did it the way I did it? Hell goddamn yeah, because there is some satisfaction, and this is, you know, the fucked up living in a capitalist society feeling. Getting technically 7 garments, 6 3/4 garments finished in, I'd say, about 10 hours of actual sewing time between yesterday and today. Obviously there was a lot more prep work of that, at least that much time in prep work, and then reading through the book and just bringing my own previous experience to this. All of that factors into it. But I am a better sewer than I was this time last week because I've gotten through this book, and that's how I felt going through all of her books. It's been like a crash course in sewing. And Grant, if you're watching this, thank you again so much for gifting me this book. It meant a lot, not just receiving a very generous gift from you, but like what it meant. It's nice having someone I very much look up to believe in me with this kind of stuff and want me to get better and know that this was a tool that would help. You know, I have really great sewing friends in my life and just creative friends that push me and let me talk about stuff and like be a complete dweeb about the projects I'm excited about and just ramble forever about them. And I mean, all of you are included in that, because is that not what I just spew at you every week, is me dweebing out? Is that a word? We're gonna make that a word. About things that I'm like real hyped that probably nobody else cares about. It's nice being able to be excited about stuff and not be self-conscious about it. It's really great, and like only get encouraged about the things. As for these two books, as I said, I learned so much from doing these, and I use patterns from both of them all the time, especially the stretch one, just because the stretch one, because I just tend to wear more knits than wovens. But there is another huge thanks to give out, which is to all of my patrons, because there's no way I could have swung owning these if it hadn't been for all of the support I've been getting from all of you for a really long time. For some of y'all, it's fucking bonkers to me, and I can't say a big enough thank you to any of you that you care hard enough about me doing my thing and learning and bettering myself and just testing shit out, figuring out what I like and don't like making and wearing. I wouldn't be this far along on this path, this sewing journey of mine, if it wasn't for all of y'all having my back. I appreciate it so goddamn much. Oh boy. Well, on that note, I am going to make some tacos because it's all I ever want to eat, and I will see you back here with another video next Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. You ready to warm my feet for the next 6 hours?